Hey, it's Mike Jacob coming to you from the Jerusalem foothills with our thought for the week. This week's parsha Bechukosai I find is very similar and has a very similar message to what Baomer is all about. Beginning of the parsha, it talks about settling the land of Israel. It says people will build houses, they'll come in numbers, there'll be wonderful, tremendous, abundant agriculture, and the Jews will come back and Jews will be able to settle the land of Israel. But right at the beginning, it really gives a condition for being able to live in the land of Israel. And that's the name of the parsha. Im Bechukosai telechu. If you follow in the statutes, then the Jews will come back, they'll settle the land of Israel. So what does it mean, Im Bechukosai telechu? So the Meforshim, Chazal, Rashi point out, it means Shetiyu Amelin Batorah. That Bechukosai means to study and toil and put your time and effort into Torah study. That is what's needed in order to settle the land of Israel and rebuild and build the land of Israel. Lag Baomer. So Lag Baomer, we all grew up outside of Israel, many of us, and it's all about picnics and having a nice time, and it's a very, very pleasant, very special day. In Israel, in Eretz Yisrael, it's all about Meron. There are buses, I'm looking over the highway, there are buses that I'm looking at going up to Meron. My two boys went up to Meron, a lot of the students go up to Meron. Meron is the place. Those of us that don't end up going to Meron, we build bonfires, bigger ones, smaller ones, but the focus is Meron. And what's Meron all about? Meron is about Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. And Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai is all about this idea of amelus b'Torah, of toiling and studying and Torah being the main focus of a person. That's what his whole entire life was all about. The story we all know about it was that the Romans wanted to kill him. Why? Because he was teaching Torah to the next generation. He was studying and learning Torah. And he ran with his son, Rabbi Elazar. And they hid for 13 years in a cave. And what were they doing in this cave in Pekin in northern Israel? What were they doing? They were studying Torah day and night, day and night. It was all about Amelin B'Torah, studying Torah. And that was the focus of his life. And he was able at the end of his life to, when he died on Lag Baomer, to reveal the Zohar. Because a life of plugging away at Torah, that's what it's about. And we think about it, we stop for a minute. Baruch Hashem, we're in the land of Israel. There's homes, there's children, there's agriculture, there's highways, there's buses. It's beautiful. It's fantastic. After 2,000 years of it being empty, we've come back to resettle the land. And those that go to Meron, and when we celebrate Lag Baomer, we are making, whether we know it, whether consciously or subconsciously, we are making a statement that we are following in the footsteps of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. We're following in the footsteps of what Lag Baomer represents, which is all about studying and Amelin B'Torah, and that's the focus of our lives. And I think that's the similarity to the parsha, because Hashem says, you want to come back to the land of Israel? Im Bechukosai telechu. If you study and use, and Torah is the central focus of your life, Hashem will give us the land of Israel. Baruch Hashem, hundreds of thousands of people representing all of us going up to Meron, making that statement. We've come back to the land of Israel. And we have the opportunity to make that statement of Shetiyu Amelin B'Torah, to toil in Torah, and that's the focus of our lives. Shabbat Shalom, take care, have a wonderful Lag Baomer.